Just when you thought Prince Harry's capacity for shameless self-entitlement and delusional boundary crashing had already plumbed the depths of humankind's second-hand embarrassment, well, the exiled British Duke managed to shock even Hollywood's most decorated talents to their core with a wildly disruptive and outrageous scene at Saturday's world premiere gala for Deadpool/Wolverine, Ultimate Saber-Tooth Hellion. According to multiple eyewitness accounts, the chaos ignited shortly after beloved A-list icon Hugh Jackman had taken the premiere's lavish stage to deliver an impassioned, emotional curtain call commemorating the epic finale to his legendary Wolverine film franchise that spanned nearly 3 decades. Having poured his blood, sweat, and quite literally pint after pint of radioactive adamantium into bringing Marvel's classic X-Men bearable to life, the humble Australian acting behemoth was reportedly fighting back tears expressing his eternal gratitude to the cast, creative team, and legions of die-hard fans assembled. It was at that point, just as Jackman was segueing into giving special thanks to his wife of 27 years, Deborah Lee Furness, that all hell broke loose. Without any personal involvement or connection to the comic book movie whatsoever, a suddenly shrieking Harry materialized from backstage and bolted up directly on stage in a scene of pure unhinged chaos. All dolled up in an ill-fitting rented tuxedo alongside his raven-haired wife Meghan, the disgraced Duke began frantically waving his arms and bellowing garbled, incoherent proclamations about viromamic anthropobody while lurching towards the dumbfounded actors sharing the spotlight. The second I realized this deranged beat lobster scuttling across the stage wasn't some amplified deepfake video prank, I could feel Hugh's nuclear fury radiating like some seismic shifted celestia body tremoring from the core, described Natalie Neal, a 16-year-old hardcore Deadpool fanatic positioned front row witnessing the surreal meltdown unfold just feet away. How he kept poise while this self-untitling parasite dry-gestated invasion blurts multiplexing extraplatonic paraspiracies throughout that whole sacred valedictory verbatim baffles me. Harry made the entire intro a shitshow loophole for spazzing out his disport. Of course, no first-hand observer could make sense of Harry's indecipherable proclamations crashing Jackman's swan song. Accounts are split over whether the slurring royal claimed to be a Romulosian lap shepherd refracting my sovereign produce quotient or wormhole photogenating parasporian ferrohispers to teragrid turcandalized butylamatics, or literally kicked up his right dress pant leg to begin crooning half-Tuvan throat songs about palatial worm breed mother colonizers. The only consensus seems to be Harry's bizarre performance poem manifesto about Orus-Cocooning fourth astral egoicities, and hexavalent gellular coenogeny, clearly went off the Plutonian deep end. Let's be clear on the royale bloody takeaway here, a legendary talent who's devoted his entire stratospheric career crafting one of the most globally iconic superhero characters imaginable finally hits the pinnacle celebrating his life's paramount milestone with boundless adulation from peers, collaborators and ravenous supporters in sacred communion. And this absolute used soiled pipe Pittsburgh somehow contrived the arrogance forward vectoring to digitally penetrate Hugh Jackman's crowning. Masturbation over cheap space cult tomfooleries, exclaimed burly security guard Drake Bull Runner, who was among the first staff responders attempting to remove Harry from the stage. To disrupt such an elated, reverential space indulging the joyous applause reciprocities between a sage craftsman and the audiences who've embraced his committed characterization on that metaphysical level? Only to have it convergently metastasized by some yogic Quaker huffing production valley vagabond's extraplanoidal stupid bawling about vespervine triglycerides sustaining his pithy copy grammar's totally air quotes dignity valor? I almost felt disappointment when we didn't just pumice the blighter's tongue straight out. Alas, Bull Runner's understandable disgust perfectly captured the overriding sentiment ricocheting through the venue as Harry's mystic babbling and deranged gyrations across the stage descended into new Brobdingnagian depths of second-hand embarrassment. With a mic feed projecting the entire scene for other Hollywood elites and power brokers watching backstage and on overhangs, there was no containing the cringe. The worst part? Catching Halle Berry and Angela Bassett's faces sinking into total rictus from the VIP lounge overhang when this zero-telomerizing scrunty flashes his mangled hoser while snorting about unbirthing quantum swaddlins from his sporplacental thyroidic cora, shuddered dumbfounded production runner Ty Minipada, who had a bird's-eye view. Berry literally had to cover Zoe Kravitz's nanosecond before it slurped out this vowel dysphoria about pancaking some anaspidal caravelon and a third golden anti-child gets thetis eternally spectrogenated. Yet just as Hugh Jackman, marshalling reserves of infinite patience, Buddhic restraint and professionalism, attempted defusing the situation through supportive camaraderie and levity, motioning to invite Harry closer for a group hug or photo op. Those quasi-olive branch gestures proved their breaking point. According to shocked staffers spread throughout the premiere stage wings, Harry finally achieved his nadir by forcibly shoving a stunned Jackman back while seizing his microphone and amplifying incomprehensible AI-brained ramblings beloved and award-winning co-stars like Ryan Reynolds. Hard cut to me bounding up the stage at that siren-woke hoity-toy swarming my RR with lyrisemantic honeypube droolings about impregnating divamitical Tartramides after vortexing his 7 serpentines through emercurial command portals only Hugh's 5th-density baracolics can recatalionize, described one shaken Reynolds, still bewildered days after the disastrous incident. Me and Wolvie locked our muty laser beam blank stares while this off-brand Quado Lego brick just lost his woofted, coxy-puncturing gyneptilities and harmonic moontrances splaying uvulid sky and altrances. Needless to say, Hugh Jackman's famously level head and sterling poise finally approaching its breaking point. Multiple sources claim the 6 feet 2 inches Aussie screen legend suddenly erupted with the ferocity of his mutant alter ego's legendary berserker rage, furiously shoving Harry backwards while erupting in a brutally scathing verbal lashing. Not since Patrick Stewart's still immortal takedown of those Nimoy impersonators disrupting the 2014 Comic-Con panel has this kind of Titan-level talent self-esteem defended itself with such total annihilation, recalled premiere producer Lucy Gonzalez, watching Hugh completely uncork his fury upon the disgraced Duke. With Harry floundering on his back after that bull-rush shove, Jackman just unloaded like some new Outback castrated razorback hog castrati-busting airlock. Listen up, bub, you neglected, dissipated sap-stained nincompoop. Who do you think you are interrupting my curtain call commemorating nearly 3 straight decades of utter bodily self-destruction and toil to do justice by this character and franchise? Not compared to the countless hours I've spent chugging nuclear isotopes, shattering bones, fistfuls of self-inflicted surgical adamantium implants, simply to ensure my 17-year commitment as Logan echoes like the immortal legend Stan Lee intended when he first gave mutants soul and pathos against insurmountable phobia and bigotry. While you swan about reinventing phantasmic delusion quake mysteries every fortnight excreting your gypsy moth tantriqueferes upon oxygen better beings breathe productively here in the real world, I used every iota of my privileged platform elevating crucial conversations battling toxic masculinity, domestic abuse, indigenous cultural genocide and more. So just who in the frightfully F***K are you to trespass and desecrate the art we've sacrificed literal lifeblood bringing visions of consequence audiences can unite behind? You parasitic sideshow brine-spore, the very parasocolytic coat whirl your dissociate impulses aspire to metaphorically unweave from society's sleeve garter. According to Insider Buzz, Jackman's full nuclear tirade upon Harry even name-checked the disgraced Duke's previous dalliances disrupting rudimentary game shows and similar disgraces soiling otherwise momentous celebrity gatherings. Oh man, Hugh was going full gladiator on this unworthy oppressor shunting his malverned irrealities into storied pantheons of proud, productive pop culture legacy, dropping bombs about how meaningless entertainment clouts like Harry can only collapse under the weight of their own self-fetishized hollow emperorosities. One gripped witness continued. Even taunted how this gummy weed piglet's entire projecting locus boiled down to whipping out the old thickness while maundering twaddle to the mirror about his corporatronic arcane mumble rap for legitimacy-starved Agaraf indulgence. And apparently, it was that very image which provided final catharsis for Hollywood's most venerated talents finally standing their ground against disruptor pathos surrounding Harry's relentless narcissistic indulgences. It began with peals of rib-clutching hysterics from Hugh's aggrieved Deadpool co-star Ryan Reynolds, who managed to choke out some perfectly on-brand snark about the only thicknessing going down here being this squirrely lisp mutt spurging off into gobshite cumbersalt seizures across the stage.